Test. Check. 1, 2, 3. Hello? Test. Hey. Test. 1, 2. Hey. Checking the microphone. Test. 1, 2. Test.
Koatseopa. Just wanted to make a quick announcement. If you have a seat open next to you, if you could please move over so we can accommodate other families trying to see their graduates. We do have an overflow space, so if your family has not arrived yet, they can go into our overflow space in the library building and in our commons area on the second floor. So again, if you're holding a space, we really need to make room for other families that are here. We do have overflow spaces to watch the live stream on the screens in the library, in the auditorium, the lecture hall, and in the commons on the second floor. If you need guidance, please see someone at the front door where those locations are. We're excited you're all here. Thank you.
The Institute of American Indian Arts respectfully acknowledges that it is located on the traditional Puebloan lands of the Tanauan and Kara-speaking peoples. We honor and thank them for their graciousness as stewards of the land.
Kwistchich, Lamlamsh. My name is Charlene Teeters. It's my pleasure to introduce our MC for today, Dr. Frances K. Holmes, Muskogee Ancestry. She's an associate professor, department chair of the Indigenous Liberal Studies. She received her PhD in education with an emphasis in language, literacy, and culture in 2013 from the University of California, Davis, and an MA in Native American Studies in 2006. Previously, Kay was an assistant professor at Fort Lewis College in the Native American Indigenous Studies Department. While she was appointed vice chair of the Native American Grave and Repatriation Committee and served on their institutional review board. So Kay came to IAIA in 2019. So please help me welcome our MC for today.
Hishjay. Good morning and welcome to the 2023 IAIA Commencement Ceremony. To get us started in a good way, I'd like to introduce Dr. Paul Quintana, who will provide our invocation. Please stand for the invocation.
Goatina, Opa, Ahen, Payakiam Sitran, Hakak Dewa, Gotzits Hanus, Gokwishan, Na, Away, Chita Pecha, Chita Kijracha, Ho Ak of Nature, Oa Mashtan, Shatsaya, Shanaya, Shayakyume, Shamamat, Ya, Dusre, Guinea Gashby, Sakya Kochani, Hanikyat, Gikya Sakya. Ho mani shake you me, doing a nake you me, kona me, go that. Skamatsa, skayuza, skayzara, shayu jani, to sikasha kachanu. So a chani, osha, sanao, dukasa, gikyami, boname, gohame, haname. Skatsayama, sumana kachanu, wash go chani, yuti satsa, yuti skopchanu. Duk mani, ska yoni, skupes daya, dayash, shomshoshitza, showe daya, gashkani, iani, tikius kokumi, chita pecha, chita kuchuacha, iani, se maku, makikyapa, rawa, kuchuacha. I just wish everybody a good day, and to the graduates, all the love in the universe and from everybody. It's the first day for the rest of your life. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Quintana, for that invocation. I ask that you please stand again. Sorry, I didn't get here fast enough. For the flag song.
Hey!
Thank you for that powerful flag song. You can sit down now. So now what I would like to do is introduce IAIA's president, Dr. Robert Martin. Dr. Martin is an enrolled member of the Cherokee Nation, and he received his doctorate from the University of Kansas. Prior to coming to IAIA in 2007, Dr. Martin was the associate head for the American Indian Studies program at the University of Arizona and has served as president of 3 other tribal colleges. Please join me in welcoming our president, Dr. Martin.
Thank you, Dr. Holmes, for that introduction, and I want to thank Paul Quintana for the opening blessing, and of course our drum group and singers and dancers that have joined us from multiple pueblos, even Hopi and Acoma, I believe, and several others. So thank you very much for being with us. OCO, good morning. All right, somebody, let's do that again. OCO, good morning. All right, thank you. You did it. It's a pleasure for me to welcome our graduating students and their families and friends, the Board of Trustees, the alumni, donors, and supporters to the Institute of American Indian Arts 2023 Commencement Ceremony. I welcome you to IAIA, the birthplace of contemporary indigenous arts. Congratulations, class of 23. On this morning, you're beautiful, and we are gathered here to celebrate your success. You are the living embodiment of our mission to empower creativity and leadership in indigenous arts and cultures. I admire you for the sacrifices you made to be here today. Some of you left your family, and to come here and for the graduate program, the residencies, but you worked diligently and remained focused on your academic goals as you confronted the multiple challenges associated with the pandemic on campus and in your home communities. You overcame the shadow cast by the pandemic, and you persisted. You remained motivated to the pursuit of your studies, creativity, and perfecting your arts practice. You have taken risk with your creative expression. Sometimes you may have thought you made a mistake, but you always learn from those mistakes. You have grown as artists and found your voice to tell your story through art. So congratulations. We want to recognize your network of supporters who have helped you on your path to success. Of course, your family members and that are here with us today, and I know that we're live streaming this, so we have a virtual audience, so they may be at home or not able to be with us, but I'd like family members that came to support your graduating students to please rise and be recognized. Thank you. But, thanks for being with us. And I'd like now to, tomorrow's a special day, and every day should be special in honoring our moms and grandmothers and so on. But I'd like to have the moms, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, the aunts, to please stand and rise. And we thank you for all that you do for families and everybody. So thank you. Thank you very much. Our talented faculty for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your talents, your creativity with our students, and we really appreciate your commitment to the mission of the Institute of American Indian Arts, and especially our students. So could the faculty please rise? So thank you. And mentors, thank you. Good job. Now I'd like to recognize two of our faculty that are serving as faculty marshals and who were co-faculty members of the year, selected by our students. Dr. Thomas Antonio, could you please rise? Where are you? Thank you. And Professor James Rivera, thank you. Don't you like Jim's hat? Yeah, I'm going to have to get one of those. Of course, the IAIA staff for providing the necessary support and services so that our students could be successful. Please rise and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate all that you do. Now, I'd also like to recognize the Staff Person of the Year, Karen Redeye. She's our Student Success Advisor. Where is Karen? Thank you, Karen. But in visiting with students, they always say that they learned so much from their fellow students, and those fellow students provided support and encouragement, and they learn from each other. And I think we're a small community, but a very diverse community coming from all over the United States and other countries. So I want all the students that helped and supported others and mentored others, please stand. I know all of you did. Great, thank you. Thank you for that. Now it's my pleasure to share the profile for the 23 graduating class. The profile, and there's 70 students that are graduating today. You range in age from 17 to 61. You are parents and grandparents. We have one high school student that's earned her certificate in business and entrepreneurship, and she's graduating with honors from high school next month. That's Jade Rose Anaya. So where's Jade? Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge Jade because what we want to do with our dual credit program, we've been offering dual credit to high school students for probably 11 or 12 years, and enrollment's grown to around 400 students or more. But what we want to happen is the students graduate either with their certificate or associate degree when they receive that high school diploma. So we're going to be working on that. We know we're going to have partners at the schools, but we want an early high school through dual credit, or early college through dual credit, excuse me. Your average age is 35. The undergraduates, 32, and graduates, 41. You represent 32 indigenous sovereign nations whose flags are beautifully displayed here in our gymnasium. And that's very important to recognize those nations and tribal sovereignty. We know that this college exists because of treaty obligations of the federal government, the trust responsibility. So our ancestors sacrificed so much in land and other things. So to be able to show these flags and respect tribal sovereignty, that's very important here at the Institute of American Indian Arts. The 37% of our students, the highest, or the number of students from any tribal nation is the Navajo Nation. And second is Acoma Pueblo and Caddo Nation. You come from 19 states. The top states are New Mexico, California, Oklahoma, and Washington. Yeah. 83% are indigenous, and 17% represent a rich diversity of other cultures, all from within the United States. Today, the group is awarded 10 certificates in museum studies, business and entrepreneurship, and broadcast journalism, 3 associate degrees, 38 bachelor's degrees and Bachelor of Fine Arts degrees, 14 MFAs in creative writing. And of course, with this program, we're celebrating a milestone for the MFA program in creative writing. They've been in existence since 2013. It's the 10th year. And thus far, including today, we've graduated 178 students, and they're making a difference in creative expression in writing, publications. I think it's, as Pam Houston said the other day or yesterday, that this program has brought about a renaissance in indigenous writing, script writing, poetry, fiction, nonfiction, and so we're so proud of this program and all that it's accomplished. The inaugural Master of Fine Arts in Studio Arts, they're graduating their first cohort of 9 students, and this is, this is another milestone in the historic development of IAIA's mission to advance contemporary indigenous arts. So we're going to, I think, continue to be at the forefront in terms of advancing indigenous arts and cultures because of our undergraduate and our graduate programs. And next year we'll have our 3rd cohort from MFA in Cultural Administration. And where's Jessie Riker Crawford? She's leading the effort for that program. She's our director. So we will look forward to continue to make history there. And graduates, you're joining the ranks of many of our alums today. In fact, I'd like to recognize the alums that are in the audience. Could you please stand and be recognized? Some are on our faculty. Thank you, thank you. The Alumni Council and the Alumni Office are presenting each graduate with an IAIA swag gift bag with information on, of course, how you can stay involved and connected to IAIA after graduation. Somebody asked me, I think it was Michael, does that mean we're going to be asking him for money? And of course I said yes. Yeah, but so that, and there's going to be information how you can stay involved after graduation. Our Advancement Associate Director, Danielle Merzinski Obiake, I'm going to need to work on her surnames there, but she's going to be handing out those to you as you leave the stage. So what I often hear from alumni and even current students is that one of the strengths of IAIA is there's a sense of community and even family. And we certainly want our alums to continue to be part of our community and stay connected. But what a blessing it has been to have had the opportunity to observe your progress as artists in creating beauty informed by your indigenous cultural heritage. We look forward to following your careers as artists, filmmakers, writers, scholars, performing artists, or museum professionals. I wish you well as you pursue your dreams. Again, congratulations, class of 23, and remember, we love you. Wado, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the chairman of the IAIA Board of Trustees, Lauren Kiev. Lauren practices law with Kiev Law Offices in San Francisco, California. He attended Stanford University and received law degrees from Oxford University and the University of New Mexico. He has been a trustee of IA since 1994. Please join me in welcoming the IAIA Board of Trustee Chair Lauren Kiev.
OCO, Yatehe, bienvenidos. A warm welcome to all of you here today. We are in the dark because we're live streaming, and apparently it helps the people who are not here be able to see us if you're in the dark and we're in the light. Some explanation. I would like to just make a couple of comments. First of all, the Board of Trustees are appointed by the President of the United States of America. And we meet 4 times a year. We had the pleasure of meeting with the last 2 days with some of our graduates, the MFA graduates in creative writing and the like. And I just want to tell you the amount of love that they've expressed and the warmth for their relationships with each other, with their writing, and with IAIA cannot be described. I just want to thank you all for everything you've done, and more importantly, for everything you will do in advancing Native literature. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce 3 of my fellow trustees, and I would ask that you please stand. The first is Joanne Balzer. Joanne, with her wonderful husband, Bob, do so much for Santa Fe in so many ways, and we are so glad that you've supported us for these many years. I think you've been with us for probably about 35 years, if I remember correctly, in one form or another. The next person I'd like to recognize is Bitte Becker. Bitte is a fellow graduate of the University of New Mexico School of Law. She's had an illustrious career. Her current job is as counsel to the President of the Navajo Nation, the youngest president of the nation today. That's a very special job. She has another job. She's a mother, and her daughter just won the spelling bee for the Navajo Nation and for the state of Arizona. Where she will be going to Washington, D.C. to compete and win. I'd also like to recognize Matt Snip. Matt Snip is a professor of sociology at Stanford University. He's on the board of the National Academy of Sciences. He's also the associate provost for diversity at Stanford, for making sure that Stanford has the most diverse faculty we can possibly have. So thank you, Matt, for everything you do there. We are also privileged to have some of our foundation board members, Scott Colt and Karen Friedman. Would you please stand? Dorothy Bracey and her partner, Tom Johnson. And Lorraine Lewis. I would also like to thank and recognize someone who, as someone may know, needs no introduction, but I would like to introduce him and thank him, and that's our president, Bob Martin. Bob is in his 16th year here. A number of the buildings that you see around you, including the one we're sitting in, are the legacy of Bob and what he's done for this institution. He really has transformed it. He has made it the creative, wonderful experience for all of us. And give us another round of applause for him. And Bob could not have done it without his partner, Lucy Tapahanso, Poet Laureate of the Navajo Nation. Thank you for sharing Bob with us. And now, Jeffrey Gibson. Jeffrey Gibson's work focuses his Choctaw Cherokee heritage and experience of living in Europe, Asia, and the United States, with references that span culture, queer theory, fashion, politics, literature, and art history. His multifaceted practice incorporates painting, performance, sculpture, textiles, and videos, characterized by vibrant colors and patterns. Unfortunately, he will not have any video presentation, but I brought one with me. This is a scarf that Jeffrey has just done for Site Santa Fe. I encourage you to all go down there and buy one. They're absolutely miraculous. They turn green, red, and all sorts of things. And this is kind of like a sacrament. A sacrament is an outward and visible manifestation of an inward and invisible grace. And this, to my mind, is a representation of Jeffrey's wonderful spirit, his color, his creativity. And if you ever get a chance to see Jeffrey's shows, his art, immediately run, do not walk. So thank you, Jeffrey, for honoring us here today. Jeffrey was born in Colorado, and he currently lives and works on the Hudson Valley in upstate New York. He combines intricate indigenous artisanal handcraft, such as beadwork, leatherwork, and quilting, with narratives and contemporary resistance to protest slogans and song lyrics. This blend of confrontation and pageantry is reinforced by what Felicia Feaster describes as, quote, a sense of movement and performance as if these objects are costumes waiting for a dancer to inhabit them. Jeffrey harnesses this power of these materials and techniques to activate overlooked narratives while embracing the presence of historically marginalized identities. As he has explained, I am drawn to these materials because they acknowledge the global world. Historically, beads often come from Italy, the Czech Republic, or Poland, and contemporary beads can also come from India, China, and Japan. Jingles originated as the lids of tobacco and snuff tins, turned and used to adorn dresses, but now they are commercially made in places such as Taiwan. Metal studs also have trade references and originally may have come from the Spanish, but also have modern references to punk and DIY culture. It's a continual mashup. Acknowledging music as a key element in an experience of life as an artist, pop music becomes one of the primary points of reference in his practice. Musicians become his elders and lyrics become his mantras. If you've ever seen his montage with a Native American dancer, it's fantastic. Recent paintings synthesize geometric patterns inspired by indigenous American artifacts with the lyrics and psychedelic palette of disco music. Would you please welcome our graduation speaker, Jeffrey Gibson. I'm sorry. It helps to do the script. I first got to give him a degree.
Yeah, it's really an honor for Jeffrey Gibson to join us, and he has a very busy schedule. In fact, he flew in last night, I believe, from Montana. I think his flight came in after 11, and I don't know what time he got in bed, and he was up early this morning. So we really appreciate his presence today and honoring our graduating students. It's a special treat for us, and we're hoping that we can convince Jeffrey, when he has time, to come back and spend time with our students as an artist in residence or something to that effect. But we're awarding a doctoral degree in humanities. The Institute of American Indian Arts is conferring this upon Jeffrey Gibson, the honorary degree of Doctorate of Humanities, and we're present that to him. And normally we would hood him, but he has it on already, and he didn't want to give it up. But but anyway, he will take that with him, and we have a blanket for you, the IAIA blanket. The blanket came from our museum collection, and it's Benny Buffalo and Material Break, and it's, I think, in 1967. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Gibson. Thank you.
Okay, put that down there. Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm very thrilled to be here, and I have a lot of adrenaline, so I'm not feeling tired yet. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here with all of you for such an important celebration. It is a personal honor and privilege to deliver the commencement speech today. I want to thank President Bob Martin and Board Chair Lauren Kiva, the Board of Trustees, and the entire community at IAIA for their invitation and trust in me. Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2023. What a wild experience the past few years have been in the world. And I know that the instability has impacted us all in very personal ways and challenged us to find meaningful and intentional ways to move forward in the face of uncertainty. These past 5 years have caused myself and others to reconsider our priorities and values and make significant changes in how we place ourselves in the world. I am speaking specifically of the COVID-19 pandemic, the activism and protest of Indigenous, Black, and Brown communities to demand safety and equal justice, the increasing disparity between the rich and the poor, and witnessing the impacts of global climate change as they continue to affect us all. I know it seems like a real downer to bring these issues up right after congratulating you on your graduation, but I think it's important to offer some context of the times we are living in, and also the times in which this graduating class has successfully accomplished a major achievement in spite of these challenges. This takes strength, perseverance, intelligence, and vision, and you should all feel extremely proud and empowered by what you have done. You all represent the tip of a centuries-old lineage of creative thinkers and makers who have found ways to create and dream, invent, solve, and bring new paths forward in extremely turbulent times in the past. You represent the present and the connection between the past and the future. Again, congratulations, and I think I speak for all of us when I say that we are proud of you all and can't wait to see your talents unfold. Thank you, we can share with you. I continue to be amazed when I look at the things our ancestors made and how those objects not only mark the time when they were made and tell the stories of the person or communities who made them, but they also reflect the maker's decisions about materials, aesthetics, function, and engagement with their surrounding world. Even during our most challenging times, Indigenous artists have made use of the materials around them. Sometimes those materials have traveled from across the globe, and Indigenous makers have used these foreign materials in inventive ways that have supported our own traditions and stories. Much of what has been made by Indigenous people over the past hundreds of years can truly be seen as global, intentional, and complex. In 1993, I had the privilege to be a research assistant for NAGPRA, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, at the Field Museum in Chicago. My job was to help tribal delegations in viewing objects from the collections and to help facilitate their own research. I am thankful to those elders and community members who advised me and prayed over me for protection while doing this work. They taught me to move carefully amongst the objects, to always introduce myself and to explain what I was doing, and to listen to the objects. This experience has really shaped my practice as an artist. And when I thought about what advice I can offer to you all as artists who are getting ready to head out into the world, listening seems to be like a key thing that will help you in many ways. By this, I mean listening to your own creations and to the objects, materials, and stories that are informing what you make. They will communicate back and tell you where to go. And sometimes you won't understand why, but listen and let what you hear influence you. Speak to your ancestors and to those makers who have come before you. Ask them questions. Speak to the land and introduce yourself. It will respond in its own way and in its own time. Remember that everything is alive. Everything is alive. Everything has a story, and it's never a simple one. It is our responsibility as creative thinkers and makers to enable those complex stories to unfold in what we make. Let the sadness sit next to the joy, and the beauty rest alongside the things that are hard to look at. When you are creating, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid of feelings. Let them wash over you and listen to them. Emotions are a form of release, and as an artist, you can place these complicated feelings in your work. Let them shape what something looks like and push you to take risks and try new things. It is important for you to always be honest with yourself while you are making something. Follow your intuition and your impulses. Take risks in the studio. These are the things that develop into a practice. What happens in your studio does not necessarily need to be shared with anyone. It is up to you what you decide to share publicly. But your work will be stronger if you are open to exploring a broad spectrum of things and experimenting with different ways of thinking and making. When you are in the studio and in life, you might find that it's difficult to make decisions. When you open up to more and more experiences, you may find yourself with an abundance of choice, and the right decision may not be so obvious. This is normal, and unfortunately, learning how to make a decision is not always intuitive. I'm talking about decisions that you will make about an artwork, but also in your life. People, and some artists in particular, are masters when it comes to procrastination, not making decisions. It can be easy to start many projects and never finish any of them, or to choose to take care of others and to forget to take care of ourselves. Developing a practice is a lot of hard work and commitment, and it's up to you to put in the time and effort, especially when no one is asking you to do so. The assignments will stop coming now, and you will have to prompt yourself to think and make, and then find ways for your works to enter into the world. Remember to talk to yourself like you would a loved one, and to advise yourself like you would a loved one. I remember many times in my life that I made excuses for myself to not pursue what I wanted, and I decided that I would tell myself the advice that I would imagine saying to my own child. It suddenly became so much easier. Now that I am a parent, I get to practice this regularly. If my daughter or son is nervous about something, I ask them, "Tell me, what is it that makes you nervous?" And it is usually a fear of rejection, or being afraid to try something new that they are not confident about doing in front of other people. Ultimately, it usually is a fear of failure. But you have to always remember that there are many failures on the path towards success, and that we learn new things with each time we fall. Those small bits of knowledge accumulate and enable us to accomplish things that we may not have been able to do in the past. Believe it or not, sometimes it is important to court failure and try things that you perceive to be beyond your abilities and out of your reach. This is a key element of growth. Now that brings me to the topic of rejection. Nobody likes to be rejected, and it feels awful, especially when it is about something personal to you and that you feel you have put your heart and soul into. Truthfully, you may never know why you get rejected, but don't presume to know why you were not selected. You can always ask if there is anything that can be shared about why you were not chosen. That can be valuable. But ultimately, you should try to not hold on to rejections. Let them go and move on. It could be the wrong audience for you, or the ones who are choosing might be looking for something very specific, and although they love what you submitted, it is just not the best match. You may hear often that people apply again and again for an opportunity such as a grant or a fellowship and have been rejected 5 years in a row, and then were finally selected on the 6th. This is not uncommon. So don't give up. Don't hold on to rejections. Remind yourself that those not great feelings also mean that you are not giving up. You are getting back up, moving on, and are stronger because of it. Don't let a fear of rejection or being told no keep you from pursuing what you believe is important. Artists are often surrounded by naysayers, but find your people, the ones that believe in you and cheer you on, and support each other. The people who are here today, your peers, who are graduating with you, they are so important to your success. You may know them for a very long time, and you may find your artistic careers intersect again and again. Invest in these relationships and continue to build the community that has begun here at IAIA. Help each other and choose to be happy for each other when someone is selected for an opportunity. Oftentimes, artists are made to feel like there is not enough opportunity for everyone. This is not the truth, and this kind of scarcity model breeds jealousy and competitiveness. There is enough for everyone. Choose to believe in an abundance model. Another thing that took me ages to learn was simply to ask for what I want and need. You may not always get what you ask for, but sometimes you do, and you might even get more than you ask for. There are people out in the world who are looking to support creative people early in their careers, but they have to know about you, and it is great for you to be clear with them about what you need. No artist finds success by themselves, and asking for help is rarely a sign of weakness. In fact, I would say it's a symptom of someone who is very aware of themselves. Okay, now I want to talk about the big scary thing that many artists worry about. Can you guess what that is? Money. Money. The stereotype is that if you choose to be an artist, then you're signing up for a life of poverty. And this idea keeps many brilliant minds from developing their creative self. I also had a similar fear when I was young, but was too stubborn and too determined to give in to it. I made many mistakes when it comes to money, and there have been a couple of times when I almost gave up making my work because of it. But I never was afraid of working hard. I moved to New York City in 1999 and worked as a retail manager. And then I managed a thrift store. I was a stylist for a photo studio. And then I began working for museums as an educator. This all led me to working as a freelancer with many jobs and teaching as an adjunct professor. I often worked nearly 80 hours per week just to ensure my rent would be covered. I was so tired. But I would still find time to paint. I knew that this was not sustainable, and I tried to tell myself that I should walk away from being an artist. I almost quit at least 2 times that I can remember, but each time I would be lured back with some possible opportunity to continue, and I would take it. In 2002, I sent packets of slides, yes, slides. Some of you may not know what that is. Images on film. To 20 people in the city, New York City. One of them was Kathleen Ashmilby at the American Indian Community House in New York City. She was the director at the time and was the only person who responded. She came to my studio. In fact, she was my first studio visit in New York. Not long after, we began talking about doing an exhibition at the community house, and I applied for a grant in order to make the work. Finally, in 2005, I received my first major grant from the Creative Capital Foundation to make this body of work, and to show it at the community house where Sarah Sense was the interim director at the time, after Kathleen left to become a curator at the National Museum of the American Indian in New York City. I used the money to travel to Oklahoma to make paintings about a parcel of land there where my grandmother lived. It had come to our family from my great-grandfather as a federal allotment through the Dawes Commission in the early 1900s. It was a difficult body of work to make, but I learned so much about myself and my complicated family history. In 2007, Kathleen included some of my paintings from that series in a large group exhibition called Off the Map, Landscape and the Native Imagination. This is where I first met James Lavador, Erica Lord, and Emmy Whitehorse. I was still working many freelance jobs, and I was still teaching part-time. I later went to make prints at Crow Shadow, the press started by James Lavador, in 2008, and eventually some of the work from Off the Map was purchased by the Eiteljorg Museum when I received a fellowship from them in 2009. This is where I first met Wendy Red Star, Edward Poitras, Faye Heavyshield, and Jim Denemy. This is around the time I began to sell some of my artwork, and I could say no to some jobs and paint more. At this time, I did not have a separate studio, but was making work in my Brooklyn loft apartment. Also in 2005, the National Museum of the American Indian invited many young artists to come to Venice for a symposium and to see James Luna's exhibition titled Emendatio. This was an incredible trip and opened up my eyes to see Native artists working at this scale and internationally. This is where I first met James Luna, Rebecca Belmore, Patsy Phillips, and Nicholas Gallinin, among others. I returned for the next Venice Biennale for Edgar Heepebird's exhibition titled Most Serene Republics in 2007, and met Edgar for the first time. These are incredible and fond memories, but things were still very hard, and I did not have stability in my life, and I was still questioning whether I wanted to continue to pursue being an artist. During this time, I met Laura Ortman, Brad Kallhammer, Jesse Kude, Brian Jungen, and Mario Martinez. In 2010, I was offered a full-time teaching position at the California College of Art in San Francisco, and I took it. I was 38 years old and finally had health insurance and a paycheck. I moved out there and I felt some stability for the first time. Unfortunately, I had not been paying my taxes for a handful of years at this point, and it caught up with me. I went to take out $20 and was told that my account had been frozen by the IRS. That was scary, and I suddenly had a lot of debt on top of my credit card debt that I had built up. This made me grow up and really have to confront my relationship with money. I realized that I was afraid of money, and I really had avoided a relationship with it. It was then that I started to be responsible with spending and to pay my bills on time and to not be afraid of money. So the lesson is, don't be afraid to address your financial situation directly. Don't be afraid of the numbers. Talk to your lenders, get to know them, and let them know your situation. Sometimes they think it's really interesting that we're artists. That's true. Sometimes they can be helpful and work with you, even if they are a collection agency. And the bottom line is always pay your taxes. It is, I wish I had a different thing to tell you, but that was an important one. I met a lot of people that I still have relationships with today during these years. I did not know then how important and special these folks would be to me. I continue to work with some of them today. I do want to tell you a story about how I met Jean Quick-to-See Smith. I think it must have been 1994, when she had a solo exhibition at Jan Cicero Gallery in Chicago. I had been working at the Field Museum and was finishing my bachelor's degree at the Art Institute of Chicago, and I was familiar with very few Native artists. I had never heard of Jean before until someone who I worked with at the Field introduced me to her work and arranged for me to go over to the gallery and meet her while she was installing the show. I was really shy, but told myself that this was important. I walked into the gallery and saw her hanging paintings. I quietly crept around. I saw that she saw me, and she smiled. She introduced herself to me and talked about her paintings with me. Very soon after, she introduced me to the gallerist and invited me to the opening and the dinner afterward. I left there feeling like a rock star. I went to the opening and the dinner, where I also met Truman Lowe and was introduced to his work. I have checked in with Jean every now and again since that time, and she continues to be a huge inspiration and supporter of myself and countless other artists. I am thrilled to see her retrospective exhibition at the Whitney Museum. It is long, long overdue. So the lesson here is about relationships. Take care of them and nurture them, show up for each other, and include one another. The Native art world is special because it is still relatively intimate, and even though we are spread throughout the continent, follow each other on social media and pay attention to what each other is doing. Find ways to build a network and remain committed to it. Not every art world is as generous as the Native one, and it is growing faster than I have ever seen. It is an exciting time to be entering the world as an Indigenous creative thinker and maker. It is a lot of work with a lot of sacrifices, and I'm sure there will be times when you may want to quit. And for some, that might end up being the right choice for now. Make sure your goals are big enough and worth fighting for, so that when you are tired, you at least know why, that it's important to you. I would say that artists are often some of the unexpected and strongest leaders in our communities. The world needs your voice and your creativity. So again, congratulations on a huge achievement today, class of 2023. I wish you all of the luck in the world as you enter the next chapter of your life. Go forward bravely and with excitement, and don't put boundaries on what you want to accomplish. I promise that you have everything that you need inside of you to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gibson.
So congratulations, Jeffrey, and thank you so much for that moving speech. Thank you, Dr. Martin, and thank you, Lauren Kiva. We're going to be good friends now.
You won't be the first, not the last.
To announce our degree candidates, please help me in welcoming IAIA Provost Felipe Colon, Interim Academic Dean Charlene Teeters, and Dean of Students Nena Martinez Anaya.
As we all know, the last few years have been a difficult time to be a student, and we're proud and happy to have such a remarkable class of 2023 graduates who have persevered in completing their degrees and who we honor today. Over the last week, the IAIA MFA Creative Writing and Studio Arts programs conducted week-long in-person residencies, culminating in master's hooding ceremonies. These ceremonies featured remarkable guest speakers, readings, songs, celebrations of achievement, and the posthumous awarding of an MFA in Creative Writing Screenwriting to Peyton Maria Kanku, Crow Creek Sioux Tribe, and the posthumous awarding of an MFA in Studio Arts Certificate of Recognition to Deanna, Autumn Leaf Suazo, Dene, and Taos Pueblo. We invite you. We invite you to view the recordings of these hooding ceremonies on the IAIA website when you have a chance. And now, will the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts please stand and come forward? Sabrina Saliha Ahmed. Navajo Nation, MFA in Creative Writing, Screenwriting. Sabrina plans to continue writing stories her younger brother would be proud of. Brandon Bombardier, MFA Creative Writing, Fiction. Caddo, Southern Cheyenne, and Pawnee. He plans to finish his novel and teach creative writing at a tribal college. Jeffrey Houses, Fort Sill Apache, MFA Creative Writing, Creative Nonfiction. Jeffrey wants to thank his wife, Susan Hauser, for her support. He also plans to complete his memoir. Lorelei Ivanoff, native village of Unali, Cleet, MFA Creative Writing, Creative Nonfiction. Lorelei will return home to Alaska to write, revise, and publish her memoir. Ivy Liebenberg, Chickasaw Nation, MFA Creative Writing, Fiction, and Poetry. Ivy plans to take a break, vacation, and relax without any deadlines for a few months. Renda Dion Madrigal, Turtle Mountain, Chippewa, MFA Creative Writing, Fiction. Renda plans to look for the old stories and bring silenced voices forward in her work, with stories of medicine, and to finish her novels, Silenced Ghost, Basket, and nonfiction work, Story Medicine. She would like to thank her 2 daughters, husband, the ancestors, and Kia Bera. Tana Zakish McNeil, Klinkit Nes Ga, MFA Creative Writing, Fiction. Tana plans to apply for writing positions and work with his tribe. Diego Moreno, Pascua Yaqui Tribe, MFA in Creative Writing, Screenwriting. Diego plans to return to his script development deal with Netflix after a fair resolution to the writer's strike. Maike Nota, Navajo Nation, MFA Creative Writing, fiction. Anastasia Smith, MFA Creative Writing, Fiction, Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. Anastasia would like to thank her family and friends for all their support. Mad Boy, Wichita and Affiliated Tribes. MFA Studio Arts, Integrated 3D and 2D Practice. Nika Feldman, MFA Studio Arts, Integrated Practice. After graduation, Nika wants to put on my boogie shoes and boogie with you. Angelica Maria Garcia, MFA Studio Arts, Integrated and 2D Practice. She plans to spend time with her family, work on her practice, public art projects, and teach at the college level. Shane R. Hendren, Navajo Nation, MFA Studio Arts, 3D Practice. Shane will continue to be the prayers of his ancestors, the motivation of his contemporaries, and the inspiration for the future generations of artists and ranchers who will come after him. Susana Morales Mancas, Mestiza, Mexican-American, MFA Studio Arts, 2D Practice. She will move forward with respect, compassion, and humility on her infinite path of transformation as an artist, teacher, and fellow human being. Margarita Paz Pedro, Mexican-American, Laguna Pueblo, and Santa Clara Pueblo, MFA Studio Arts, 3D Practice. Margarita plans to spend time with family, work on her practice, public art projects, and to teach at the college level. Dominic Porras, Chicano, MFA Studio Arts, Integrated and 2D Practice. Dominic plans to immediately begin instruction as a film editing instructor. Joseph Walahatsut Seymour, Squaxin Island, Acoma Pueblo, MFA Studio Arts, Integrated Practice. He plans on taking over the world.
Will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Fine Arts please stand and come forward?
Where do you think is best for me to be?
Me and you will just switch off right here.
Okay.
And Felipe will send them in. Jennifer Benali, Oneida Nation, Dene Nation, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Studio Arts. She will be attending an internship with Nike in Beaverton, Oregon, in the color design department.
Lydia Bena. Oh, Lila Bena Begay, sorry. BFA Studio Arts. She would like to practice being more self-disciplined with the intention of evolving as a creative being while exercising self-compassion and confidence in her ability as an artist.
James J. Black, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Museum Studies. James plans to attend UCLA to pursue a master's degree in conservation.
Michael T. Buzzuto. Help me with this one. BFA, Cinematic Arts and Technology. He wants to enjoy life. Yes.
Paige Busick, Chickasaw, BFA Studio Arts. She plans to return to her home in Oklahoma City and work at the First Americans Museum this summer. Sorry. Okay. All right. Daisua Pachi Shapiro LaBeouf, BA, Indigenous Liberal Studies. She plans to get her PhD in anthropology to continue researching methodologies of indigenous culture, resistance, and continuity. Chachi Tribe and Jewish.
Chantal Chi, Dene. BFA, Creative Writing, AFA, Studio Arts, and Broadcast Journalism Certificate. Thank you, family, friends, and community. She plans to change the world.
Gregory Ibona, Tlingit and Haida, BFA Cinematic Arts and Technology. He plans to be an independent filmmaker and continue his work in the Pacific Northwest.
Tyrell Etzedy, Dene, BFA Cinematic Arts and Technology, and a certificate in broadcast journalism. He plans to apply to graduate programs and begin working towards his master's in film production. Congratulations.
Monique Autumn Holiday, Dene Nation, BFA Studio Arts. She plans to pursue an MFA and become a painting professor.
Yes. Congratulations. Shannon Christie Hooper. Is it Fallon Paiute Shoshone from Fallon, Nevada. She's getting a BFA in Studio Arts. She's been accepted into an MFA Studio Arts program and will be continuing her higher education at IAIA in the fall. Congratulations.
Jonte Com, Plains Cree, BFA Studio Arts. He plans to attend Parsons in New York City to pursue his MFA degree in fashion design with a full ride scholarship this fall.
Aiden Sunset Garrett Levy, BFA Cinematic Arts and Technology. He plans to work in a local production office in June and apply for the Directors Guild of American Training Program based out of LA in September.
Elizabeth Lukey, Pueblo of Acoma, BFA Studio Arts. She plans to open a business this summer and start selling artwork and continue her education at IAIA for the Business Entrepreneurship Certificate.
Darrell Lopez Dene. Oh, Darrell, sorry. Lopez Dene, BFA Studio Arts. He plans to settle down here in Santa Fe and continue working in upcoming projects. He has an upcoming exhibition at the Gallery Hojo in Albuquerque this summer, as well as continuing education as a chocolatier.
Continue working as a chocolatier.
Oh, continue working as a chocolatier. Congratulations.
Monica Silva Lovato, San Felipe and Santo Domingo Pueblos, BFA Studio Arts. She has accepted an invitation to join in an experimental clay residency with the Hand and Machine Research Group in the Department of Computer Science at the University of New Mexico, exploring integrations of ceramic craft with new technologies.
Ellen Maldonado, Acoma and Navajo, BFA Studio Arts and Performing Arts. She plans to continue working on her art and exploring life. She plans to work in agriculture and run around the mesas and cliffs. Let's get rugged, my friends.
Alika Matuzi, Caddo Nation, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, BFA Studio Arts, emphasis in digital arts. She plans to continue her education in graduate film studies.
Roxanne L. Myers, Navajo, BFA Studio Arts. She plans to create Navajo anime books for children and coloring books. She dedicates her degree to her daughter, Mirai, my mom, my grandmother, Lucy. Congratulations.
Jerome Nakagawa, Dene and Japanese, BFA Studio Arts. He plans to further his studies in jewelry arts and open his own studio business.
Matthew Narcho, BFA Studio Arts. He's from the Tohono O'odham nation. He plans to work with the youth of his nation and providing programming and offering support for the next generation.
Davashina Don Ray Redhouse, Navajo. BFA, Cinematic Arts and Interactive Arts and Game Design minor. She plans to continue her education and walk the path of a storyteller, as well as bringing animation to light.
Brianna Reed, BFA Creative Writing. She plans to continue on to Cape Cod with plans to return for a master's with the IAIA in January.
Eric Sanchez, Shoalwater Bay, BFA, Cinematic Arts and Technology. He will be attending Cal Arts in the fall, pursuing an MFA for film directing.
Gerald Sam, AKA Yoshi, BFA Studio Arts, Dene Nation. He plans to come back to IAIA to pursue the MFA and plans to become a fashion designer. I wish my grandfather was here to see me graduate.
Emily Schuyler, Oneida Nation of the Thames, BFA Studio Arts. Emily plans to pursue her career as a lobster fisherman.
Oh, help me with this. Obs. And then Obstats. BFA Studio Arts. She plans to work in the museum visitor services here in Santa Fe.
Miguel Valencia, Navajo. BFA, Cinematic Arts and Technology. He plans to continue learning and gaining new experiences.
Karen Vargas, Chicana, BFA Creative Writing. She plans to continue her studies at IAIA and the IAIA MFA program in Creative Writing. Congratulations.
Hannah Wolf McPike, BFA, Museum Studies and a minor in Art History. She plans to work for the National Parks Service.
Jacqueline Autumn Yepa, Dene and Jemez Pueblo, BFA Studio Arts and Business Certificate. She plans to go above and beyond in everything she chooses to do and continue exploring her soul through her works of art. She plans to work with leaders in mosaic arts and at Catherine Media in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay. Will the candidates for the degrees of Associate Arts and Associate of Fine Arts please stand and come forward? Robin Hill, Seneca, AFA, Studio Arts. Robin plans to pursue being a full-time artist. Will the candidates for Museum Studies, Native American Art History, Business and Entrepreneurship, and Broadcast Journalism please stand and come forward?
This is Jade Anaya, Business and Entrepreneurship. She plans to attend NMSU in the fall and major in kinesiology? Kinesiology. and her daughter.
Danette Chavez, Certificate Museum Studies. Let me rephrase that. Danette Chavez, Hickory Apache, Santo Domingo, Pueblo, Certificate in Museum Studies. She plans to apply for graduate programs in Museum Studies this year.
This is Delight Faith Telewipi. She's getting a certificate in business and entrepreneurship. She's excited to graduate with honors. She will continue in Native American Studies program this fall and continue to pursue her degree in the Indigenous Liberal Studies program. Her goal is to complete her degrees and take it back to her Hopi reservation.
Now it's my honor to confer degrees for those graduating in the class of 2023. Will the graduates please stand? Of course, it is a great honor for me to present to you, on behalf of the faculty of the Institute of American Indian Arts, our graduates. I do so with the faculty's sincerest wish that those who have been our students will find success and fulfillment as they welcome the new and creative challenges before them. On the recommendation of the faculty of the Institute of American Indian Arts, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of the 2023 graduates the degree as indicated on your diploma, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Please remove move your tassels, excuse me. It was a tussle, but please move your tassels to the left. Congratulations. Graduates, you may be seated.
All right, what I would like to do now is introduce the valedictorian. Get all my papers. This is, I'd like to introduce Aiden Sunset Gerhardt Levy, who is a working artist, filmmaker, and soon graduate of IAIA. His focus is on directing, production acting, sound design, soundscape, and all things audio, from the set to the booth. Before coming to IAIA, Aiden Sunset attended the New Mexico School of the Arts, where he found his passion for film and acting. New Mexico is his home, and he has been excited to see and be a part of the growing and thriving movie industry. His art is very important to him, and it is a reflection of who he is and the place he was raised.
Thank you. Didn't think you'd see me up here. Good morning, everyone. Still morning. My name is Aiden Sunset Gerhardt Levy. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico, and for the past 4 years, I've gained an immense amount of respect and love for the Institute of American Indian Arts. As many of you know, and many of you will come to find, IAIA is one of the most welcoming places you could ever go. Everyone shares respect for one another, and this allows the community to thrive. So it's reassuring to know that I found myself among this graduating class and this community. Due to the opportunity given to me by the George R.R. Martin Literary Foundation, I've been able to achieve my goal of going to school while staying at home and maintaining a very close relationship with my family. Staying home for college has allowed me to create a space in which I feel comfortable putting myself and my work out there and being creative. So thank you to George R.R. Martin. Thank you to Lenore and Elias Gallegos and everyone else associated with the George R. Martin Literary Foundation. Thank you. You have allowed me and many of my friends to achieve our goals and aspirations in the world of filmmaking. One thing I wanted to touch on is the hands-on education at the Institute of American Indian Arts. The hands-on education allows students to put their ideas to fruition. Having the class size to have a one-on-one with a professor gives the incentive for students to take their education into their hands and make their art. At IAIA, we can learn from educators who are working artists themselves and who have not only allowed me, but many others to have insights like others into their fields of study and make strong connections that maybe we never thought would be possible. So each one of the educators has put their heart, but also their soul into what they do, and they should be appreciated for their commitment to us as the students and the entire community. Thank you. IAIA is a space to create. It's a space to learn, and one of the most profound things I've learned over the past years at IAIA is that it's okay to fail. But learning that it's okay to fail takes a lot of failure. But all jokes aside, it is something that will be a constant throughout our lives, as artists, as people. Acknowledging and being content with failure is a process. So always be looking for how to make it work and turn I can't do that into I can't do that yet. Excuse me. This past year, I was struggling to find myself. I felt very lost. And through the friends and my classmates, I was able to persevere and stay the course. And now I'm able to tell my family that I'm graduating college. And having gone through these years myself, I now know and understand that it's not easy to maintain a lifestyle as a student for as long as some of us might set out for. It was important for me to take a lesson from experiences that came to those before me, and through that, I have found it within myself to stay grounded at IAIA and stick to my classes and my commitments. The staff and educators work tirelessly. The staff and the educators work tirelessly to bring an experience like no other. The campus is constantly clean, events are thought out and coordinated, and the land around our campus is thriving and maintained. Along with all the department chairs and the professors, I would also like to extend my gratitude to those working in IT, finance, student success, academics, facilities, the library, the museum, institutional advancement, the land grant, online learning, sponsored programs, human resources, communications, the campus bookstore, and of course, the president's office. Thank you. IAIA would not be the same without your contributions. And I would not be standing here on this stage today if it wasn't for my wonderful parents. So thank you to my mom, Kristen Decker, and my dad, Sam Sunshine Levy, my brother, Sidel Perez, my grandma, Granny Ranny, my Aunt Alana, my grandpa, Michael Levy, and his partner, Carol Cruz, my grandma, Suzanne Smith, my great-aunt Sherry, and my late grandfather, Gerard Wood Decker. I would also like to take the time to thank the people that have helped me immensely along the way. Devashina Redhouse, Eric Sanchez, Mickey Dolan, Rain Kingfisher, Tyrell Etsity, Michael Bazzuto, Zeneca Eclair, Shiana Reed, Alika Ntuzi, Joey Chavez, Sheila Rocha, Ben Shed, Mila Angulan, Arista Slater Sandoval, Thomas Antonio, Andrea Otero, Chris Eyre, Mr. Brierly, Khalil Hudson, Liam Lockhart, Jonathan Mugford, Sharon Hawks Russ, Bright Quashi, Francis Trujillo, Claudia Rubin, Josh Mason, and Devin Ludlow. Thank you all so much. I appreciate every single one of you. Okay. This graduating class has what it takes. If you look, please take a look at these faces because you're going to see them in the future as artists in their own right. People with ideas and thoughts that hold the highest value. You'll see one of these faces on the big screen or in their gallery or in their own book. And if they haven't done so already, they will inspire you and they will leave an impression of passion. So please, everyone, join me in congratulating the graduating class of 2023.
Thank you so much, Aiden Sunset. Congratulations again to all of our graduated students. I'd like to now welcome back IAIA Board Chair Lauren Kiva to provide our closing remarks.
Congratulations again on behalf of the Board of Trustees. Go with grace. The IAIA Board of Trustees invites all of you to attend our luncheon and powwow in honor of the graduates. We respectfully ask that you please allow the elders in our audience, that's not me, to proceed to the cafe food line first. We have seating for lunch in the cafe, in the CLA Commons, and in the halls of the Student Success Building. Graduates, please join us for a group photo in the black box at noon with the grand entry to the powwow at 1 p.m. Guests, we ask that you join us here in the gym at 1 p.m. for the powwow. As we prepare for the powwow, we kindly ask all non-powwow affiliated personnel to vacate the gym. Please all stand for the recessional. Thank you.
Yeah! you, everybody. If we could please clear out the gymnasium so we can get ready for our powwow that will start at 1 o'clock. Again, a reminder, we do have lunch provided in the cafe. You can exit out this building and walk along. There's signage to the cafe. It is free for everybody, so please join us in the cafe and join us back here. Grand entry will begin at 1 o'clock. Thank you.